Greetings. Hello, hello. Let's see. Let's make sure that we are live. Let's see. Alright. Just want to make sure we're good. Hello, hello, everybody. Yes. Hello. Let me actually, let's see. And we're getting in the flow. Hello, greetings. How y'all doing? All right, let me get some music going as we wait for some folks to join. Hey, I see you, y'all. Yes. All right. There we go. All right. All right. Hello, hello. How y'all doing tonight? Everybody doing all right? Yes. So as you jump on, I want you all to shout out your city. Where are my plant posse at? Where you guys at? Shout out your city. We are actually live on Instagram. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. And we just want you guys to engage tonight. This is an opportunity for us to learn from each other, to ask questions. We are the Plant-Based Superfoods Masterclass Day 1. So thank you all to all of you who are joining. Definitely shout out your city. I see Lilburn on Instagram. I see Lawrenceville, Georgia. I see ATL. Yes, I see you. I'm in Southwest ATL. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We have some folks here. Let me look at the chat here. Greetings. Yes, I see some folks here. Solo on YouTube. Okay. Hey, Chef Beee. Hello, hello. Shout out your city, Virginia. Georgia is one of my hangout spots. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. We love Georgia. Georgia is awesome. Georgia has become this amazing surprise place, for me. I see folks coming on ATL, West End. Good to be here. Thank you so much. I see Plant-Based Princess in the house. I see African Jelly in the house. I see Little Indigo House in the house. So welcome to all of you who are coming on. And you guys are going to hang out with me for the next 3 days. And we're going to be talking about superfoods. So if you are on, let's say, Facebook or YouTube, wherever, and you're able to share this out, please make sure that you share it with someone that you think might benefit from this information. Because I think now is the time that we got to get serious about what we eating, y'all. Like, for real. I've been talking about this forever. And I've been wanting to do something. I've been wanting to do a masterclass for some time. And I was like, I think this is the one. I think this is the one. So please share this out. Thank you so much for the hearts. And we are going to go on ahead and get started. So for all of you who are coming on, please make sure that you tell us where you're from. What city are you repping? Where my plant posse at? We're in Atlanta. We got Virginia representing. We got the South representing. So what other places are you guys coming from? I would love, love, love to know. All right, so before we get started, let me actually just tell you a little bit about myself. I am Dr. Natasha Beruli. I am also known as Chef Beee. And I am a lifestyle medicine health coach. I'm a raw and plant-based chef. And I'm just really, really passionate about helping people to take their health back. Right? That's really been the work that I've been doing. It's around education. It's around plant-based meals. It's around demoing how to eat well. It's around coaching people who are having a difficult time shifting. And really, I'm the founder of a Nyansapo Wellness Institute, and our mission at Inyansapo Wellness Institute is to really work with people who are working to transition to more plant-based foods, but they're having a difficult time doing it because they just don't necessarily know what to eat. They don't enjoy being in the kitchen, and they're just a little bit confused because that's just not how they were raised to eat a certain way, this plant-based way. And so, they need support. And so that's the work that we do. We provide that kind of support. And we do this basically through seasonal cleanses. We also offer, as I said, health coaching. We have a plant-based culinary program. And we also do meal prep. So you probably see me post quite often my plant-based meals to go. It's called the Essential Meals to Go program. And we really support people at really all areas, all levels of their journey to just eating healthier. And so it's super exciting to be here tonight because I feel like this is one of those conversations that we just need to have as it relates to just eating better. And I know that we kind of throw a lot of terms around, but I definitely want us to just kind of unpack what we mean by plant-based superfoods, because it's sort of, it's one of those things that if you are in the health and wellness field, we kind of just use that language. We say superfoods all the time. So for me, what I would say is that my journey to plant-based foods has been very interesting. So I've always been exposed to eating healthy. One, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. I'm from Guyana, for those of you who don't know. I'm originally from Guyana. I grew up in Brooklyn, and I grew up during the period, I would say the hip hop, soul to soul era. And I really became very conscious about naturalness, my hair, not wearing permed hair. And when I came to Atlanta to go to college and I went to Spelman, I started really being more mindful about what I was eating. I wasn't doing it correctly, though. I have to say that. I wasn't eating correctly. I was vegetarian. We were all conscious vegetarians. But when I look back at the foods that I was eating, it was very much steeped in carbohydrates. It was not healthy at all. And so, although there was this consciousness around being healthy and not eating meat, not eating pork, not eating things like that, the foods that I was eating were still not healthy. And so I would say that it was only within the last, I would say, 10 to 15 years that I really started understanding the power of plant-based foods and really how they can transform everything. And I use this quote, this is my quote. I say, changing everything changes everything. So I had that my own personal journey with, bearing children, one situation where I was eating terribly and the outcome and what that looked like. And then the second opportunity to really just transform the outcome of my pregnancy by changing my foods and moving to a completely plant-based diet. And it's absolutely tremendous, just that journey. And it made me this really passionate believer that, whatever you put in your mouth, you want to make sure that you put the best in your mouth and really create a completely different relationship with your food. And as a result of that, I would say that, it's really fueled this work that I do as a health coach and as a chef educator, and really working with people to, just do the damn thing, I would say. Just be the best that they can be and really embrace the power of eating healthier and eating plants, because it absolutely will nourish you and help you to be the best you can be. Yes. So changing everything changes everything. I see somebody reposting that. Changing everything changes everything. That's my quote, y'all. That's my quote. So I want to ask you all out there, again, you guys are on Instagram, we got folks on Facebook, we got folks on YouTube. I'm curious, I want to know who out there are transitioning. What sorts, like, are you transitioning? You need to eat a little bit more healthier. You need to eat, more plant-based. You're a little nervous about it. Are you sort of in between? Maybe you're plant-based a couple days out the week, but then you're, eating fish or some other things, later on in the week. Or are you completely plant-based? I'm just curious, and you can just drop it in the comments. Where are you on your eating journey? All right, people talk about their healing journey. Where are you on your eating journey? Are you transitioning? That's the question. Are you transitioning? Are you completely plant-based, or are you somewhere in the middle? You're trying to figure out what you want, what you're trying to do, how to get this thing, right. So I see I've been vegan 3 years now. I'm learning more about plant-based and raw. Excellent. All right. So wonderful. So for those of you who are joining, this is the Plant-Based Superfoods Masterclass Day 1. Thank you so much for being here. And the question on the table is, where are you in your eating journey? Are you completely plant-based? Are you transitioning, or are you somewhere in between? All right, completely plant-based, but still learning to incorporate better live foods. All right, yes. All right, anyone else? Someone says in the middle. Yeah. And let me say something as we move through this content tonight and over the next 3 days. None of it's wrong. None of it's wrong. I know we have some die-hard vegans out there, and I got mad respect for you. We got some, plant-based folks. I like to say I'm plant-based, and I'll tell you why. All right, later. I'll tell you why later. I like to say I'm plant-based. And then we have folks who are just like, I love fish. I love shrimp. And I'm telling you, it's okay. Wherever you are, it's fine. You want to make sure that you are eating and you're doing what you need to do for you. There is a statement that says there's bio-individuality. And what bio-individuality means that, what works for you, one person's food is the next person's poison. So you don't want to look around at what other people are doing. You don't want to get influenced by what's out there. You got to really tap into what's going on with you. And once you figure out what's going on with you and what you need, what your body needs, that's where you land with what you eat. And that might be plant-based foods, but then you might incorporate something else in your diet that's going to support your wellness. So I want you all to think about grace. Don't go looking around at other people. Oh, she said that she was this, but I see her eating. That don't matter. Everyone's at their different level with their journey, and they're at their own pace. And everyone's trying to figure it out. They're trying to make sense of what they've grown up with. And, just now knowing more and better information about what it is that you need to be doing to help your body and heal yourself. Everyone is trying their best. They're trying their best. So we want to make sure that we're exercising grace with everybody. All right. So I see some folks, people are saying they're in the middle, what feels good, veganish. I love that. Trying to figure out what to substitute the things we use to enjoy eating in a healthy way. Yes. I hear, yes, I like plant-based labels better. Can't say plant-based, still eating processed food as a vegan. All right, yes. So everyone's at a different place, and I'm here to tell you that's okay. That's why I'm here. Because I know I've been there. I thought I was doing the right thing, and I wasn't. I wasn't doing the right thing. I wasn't serving my body well. And, I had different things coming up periodically. I was like, what's wrong? I know I don't eat bad. But when you actually start deconstructing the things that you put in your mouth, you realize, wait a minute, that really doesn't work for my body, So we gotta just get as much information as possible and figure out what works for us. All right, I see someone else saying that they're fully organic, plant-based. Transition start 3 years ago. Wonderful. Someone says they're in the middle. Yep, my organic superfoods helped with going plant-based. Yes. All right. So let's get started, right? So I see that everyone's kind of at different places, and that's cool, right? So let's kind of talk a little bit about what this thing is, right? Like food. Food. When we talk about food, right, I like to say, because someone shared this with me and it just was so powerful, food is information to the cells. That's it. Food is information. And you're telling your cells what to become. So let me say that again. Food is information to the cells, and you're telling those cells what to become. All right. So, with that, when we think about the different kinds of foods that are out there, we really have to interrogate the quality of those foods. All right. So, when we think about like plant based foods, superfoods, these sort of big words, right? I would say superfoods. So let's start there. Superfoods. Superfoods, I just want to say, when we say superfoods, there are superfoods that are not plant-based. Yes, that's the secret out the bag. There are superfoods that are not plant-based, but we're going to actually focus only on the plant-based superfoods tonight. Okay. I want to kind of step back from superfoods for a second, and I want to talk a little bit about ancient foods. All right. Ancient foods. So when we talk about ancient foods, those are foods that have pretty much been around for a very, 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 very long time. And those are included in either plant-based foods, plant-based superfoods, or non-plant-based superfoods. So just foods that people have been eating for millennia. There are several kinds of foods like that, right? But we want to focus on the plant-based foods that are ancient foods. And when we think about ancient foods can be broken down into three categories. All right. The first category is sun-fired foods. This terminology, sun-fired foods, is actually I've gotten it from one of the Babas in the community who's a health and wellness expert. He's a chef. His name is Aris Latham. He says that the food is sun-fired, right? So another way that you might have heard this is living food or live food or raw food. Some of you have actually even used that terminology on here. But we say sun-fired foods, and one of the reasons why we call it sun-fired is because these foods are as close to, perfect, right? They're already, you can pull them off the vine, pull them out the earth. The sun has ripened them. The sun has cooked them perfectly. And so he has coined this phrase, sun-fired foods. And I absolutely love that phrase. So we still mean living foods. We still mean raw foods, all of that. But I love sun-fired foods. So when we talk about sun-fired foods include things like your seeds, your nuts, your sprouts, right? What else? You have sun-fired foods that are like fermented foods. All right. So if you're ever familiar with like veggie krauts, that's considered to be like, depending on how you make it, of course. You can't heat a sun-fired food past a certain temperature because you actually kill a lot of the nutrients when you do that, right? We are always looking for enzymes in the foods that we eat. And sun-fired foods have a lot of enzymatic action. And so when we heat it past a certain temperature, we kill a lot of the goodness out of it. The things that you eat day to day, your apples, your oranges, your grapes, those are all sun-fired foods. Those are all raw or live foods, all right? Seaweeds, these are also some examples of sun-fired foods. Grass, so like wheatgrass, that's actually an amazing sun-fired food. We said sprouts, so things like sunflower sprouts or buckwheat lettuce. Those things are considered to be sun-fired foods. And so these are one of the ancient foods that we're talking about. So we said that there were three. That's the first one. One of our ancient foods is sun-fired foods. Okay. The next one, the next ancient food is super herbs. Yes, super herbs, super herbs. So when we say super herbs, we are basically talking about herbs that have just some amazing, potent, we call them super tonic properties, adaptogenic properties. All right, so I just said two words. I said super tonic and adaptogenic action. That's a super herb. Does anyone know what those two things mean? Have you ever heard of a super tonic or adaptogen? Shout out to Baba Aries Latham. Yes, to be honest. So I'm looking at some of the comments while you guys are thinking about this. To be honest, it's a process for me. I'm trying different recipes. Hopefully I will figure this out soon. I do love grilled fish. Yes. All right. So I'm asking you all if you've ever heard of the word super tonic or adaptogenic. Have you ever heard of those words? Because this is the second ancient food. Super tonic, adaptogenic. Have you ever heard of those words before? Yes, no, maybe so? No? All right. We got a bunch of comments down here. So I'm looking, ooh, look at all these beautiful comments. All right. Some people have said yes. Some people have said no. All right. So let's talk about super tonic. So when we say that a herb is super tonic, we're basically saying it is highly potent. It's a highly potent herb. And it's used for like food-based remedies. And it really helps with inflammation. It helps with fevers. It helps with flu, colds, infections. All right. So now that you know what a super tonic is, could you think of some of the things that you might have used or seen or heard of that would be considered a super tonic? What are some things that you think are like highly potent that are like herbaceous? What do you think? Anybody? Just give me one example of something that you think is, super potent, herbaceous, helps with inflammation that you would probably use during this time. All right, I see ginger. Yes, ginger is absolutely a super herb. It's a super tonic. Yes, it has that super tonic action. Oregano. Yes, amazing. I see rosemary. I see thyme, turmeric. Yes, those are all wonderful super tonics. All right. In addition to having the super tonic action is helping to fight inflammation, right? We want to also mention adaptogenic. All right. So what does adaptogenic mean? Well, adaptogen, there's a whole class of herbs that are going to support you with giving you or helping you to have a healthier stress response. So that's what adaptogenics do. So adaptogenic herbs are herbs, a special classification of herbs that help your body manage stress properly. Okay, so it helps with your neurological information and signaling in the body. All right. So as you know, we are all bombarded with all sorts of just stressful things, right? Because we're constantly getting a lot of information and we're also getting just a lot of stimulation, right? And so what we need as part of our arsenal are adaptogens. Adaptogens are going to support us in managing our stress response. All right. It's going to help us manage our stress response. Okay. So let me see. I have some people said wheatgrass. So wheatgrass, that would be considered, that helps with, that would be considered a highly potent super tonic. Yep. And then super tonics for metabolism. So super tonics are actually really good for, we said, like fighting inflammation and things like if there's a virus in the body, we'll bring a super tonic in to help fight that virus. All right. Because they have antiviral properties, anti-inflammatory properties, antifungal properties, right? So if we have those kinds of things attacking the system, then we can bring super tonics in to support that. All right, let's see. Anybody else here? All right, let's see. Ooh, moringa. Okay, I see you, moringa. Yes, moringa. That would be, definitely very potent, right? So that would be considered super tonic. Yes, elderberry. So elderberry is not a herb. Elderberry is a fruit. So it wouldn't be considered a super tonic because super tonics are herbs, right? Elderberry is very powerful, but it wouldn't be considered a super tonic. All right. Um, so now let's talk about adaptogens. All right. So what are some adaptogens? Maybe you're familiar with these and maybe you're not. Right. So one that I use every single day is ashwagandha. Okay. I use ashwagandha. So remember, our adaptogens are herbs that are going to support a healthy stress response. In addition to helping us with stress, it also works to support different aspects of our body functions. So it might be fatigue, it might be circulation, it might be supporting the lungs, it might be helping us to get to sleep, it might be just us calming down, right? So you find adaptogens, like there's a lot of teas, or you might see mixtures that have a variety, a blend of different adaptogens in them so that they're hitting at different body systems. All right. So let me tell you some. All right. Ginseng, yes. Thank you. Yes. Rhonda Williams, I see you. Ginseng is a wonderful adaptogen. All right. And we mentioned ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is wonderful for just helping to relax the system. It helps to stave off fatigue in the body, depression, and just overall stress. It's like one of those really powerful um, adaptogens. All right. Another one is valerian root. All right. Valerian root. Valerian root is an adaptogen that really supports you supporting like healthy sleep patterns. It helps to promote relaxation and reducing anxiety. So if you're one of those people that, you feel like you're always anxious, you might want to get some valerian root into your diet. And since you mentioned, Rhonda, since you mentioned ginseng, Siberian ginseng in particular is an adaptogen. And this particular adaptogen supports liver health. It helps to stabilize blood sugar. And then also, once again, it's going to help with managing stress. All right. We also have astragalus. Astragalus. And let me say this as I give you these names, when you're talking about herbs, plants, any of these things, right? Many of you know that I also work with essential oils. Remember what we said earlier. One person's food is the next person's poison. Bio-individuality, right? And so what that means is, so I'm giving you a list of these adaptogens. That doesn't mean that the adaptogens that we're mentioning will work for everybody. Because everybody's system is a little bit different and it needs something a little bit different. So you might try ashwagandha and ashwagandha might not work for you. So you don't give up on adaptogens, but what you would do is you would basically just try different ones out to see which one works for you until you find something that really works for you. All right. So far, we've mentioned ashwagandha. That's one. We've mentioned Siberian ginger or ginseng, excuse me. We've mentioned valerian root. That's another one. And now we're mentioning astragalus. So astragalus is another one of those adaptogens that's going to support the liver, the lungs, the circulatory health, urinary tract system. That's what valerian root does for the body. Okay. And astragalus does the same. Well, actually, astragalus is the liver, the lungs. Valerian root is going to support sleep and relaxation. The next one is maitake mushrooms. So I know that there are people out there that don't like mushrooms. Anybody out there don't like mushrooms? Tell us. Anybody out there don't like mushrooms? Mushrooms are so healing, y'all. Oh my goodness. Mushrooms? Whew. Mushrooms are so amazing. How many of you guys out there like mushrooms? Do I have, say yes, I'm a mushroom head. Mushroom head. And if you don't like mushrooms, you could tell us why you don't like mushrooms if you want to. All right. There's so many different varieties of mushrooms out there, y'all. You have you have your portobello mushrooms. That's probably one that you know of. Button mushrooms. But when we get into the more exotic mushrooms, they have these amazing healing properties. So oyster mushrooms, some of you might be familiar with oyster mushrooms. Oyster mushrooms, there's also maitake, and then we're going to talk a little bit about maitake. There's chanterelle mushrooms. Those are very rich, very meaty, right? We also have, what is that one? Shiitake mushrooms. I love those because they're very flavorful, and they just have a lot of, when you're making soups or stews, they're just absolutely incredible. All right, let's see. Someone says here, definitely a mushroom head. Yep. I even take various mushroom supplements. Yes. So what people tend to do, because again, mushrooms, let me say something about mushrooms. As y'all know, mushroom is like a fungus, right? So that's probably one of the things that people have issues with, that it's a fungus. So, I get it, right? But it is a wonderful substitute when you're transitioning to a plant-based diet because of the texture, right? So you have all these different textures that mushrooms have. And the other plus is that because it has sort of this spongy consistency, mushrooms absorb a lot of flavor. So, when you're eating something that has mushrooms in it, it's going to just, like, if it's flavored properly, it's absolutely incredible. Here's something else that's really interesting, and I learned this from my good friend Farmer Jay. Mushrooms actually absorb vitamin D. So, many of us, are melanated folks in particular, because we don't get out and we're not in the sun enough. We're actually deficient in vitamin D, and many of us don't even know that we're deficient in vitamin D. We haven't gotten it checked out. If you don't know, you probably want to get your vitamin D levels checked out. Let me just say that. But one way that you can get vitamin D, in addition to taking vitamin D supplements, is by eating mushrooms. Why? Because they can absorb the vitamin D, and then when you consume the mushrooms, you get vitamin D. All right. So super, super incredible. Mushrooms are just like super dope. So this maitake mushroom is considered to be an adaptogen, right? And so what some people do, they would dry the mushroom, and then they would use these for like smoothies, drinks, beverages. The maitake mushroom is heavily used in Asia, and this is actually one that is super good for diabetes and hypertension. So, maitake, go get them. They're amazing. Another, and mind you, there are a ton of adaptogens, but I didn't want to give you all of them because there's just so many. Just want to give you a handful of the ones that I know very much and that I've used. Another one that's really powerful, simple, peppermint. So peppermint is an amazing adaptogen. And, when you're actually using mint, tell me how you feel. When you're actually using mint, whether it's in your tea or you smell it, like what comes over you when you have mint? How do you feel? Because that speaks to the nature of the adaptogenic property in mint. So when you have mint, what do you feel when you have mint? What do you feel? What does the mint do for you? Yes, it refreshes you. That's a good one. Yes, Monica. All right. What else? When you have mint, how does it make you feel? All right. Some people don't like mint, right? Rejuvenation. Yeah, exactly. So mint is also used for cooling the body down. So if you're hot, like it's been hot in Atlanta. We've been almost what 90, late 90s, maybe even 100 degrees. You can actually get some either mint essential oil, or you can get some water and add some fresh mint to your water and drink it, and it just cools you down. So that's what mint does from an adaptogenic standpoint. It's used very much for aromatherapy, and it really helps to manage stress. Right. The aroma of mint also helps in just relaxing your brain. All right, and the body. It just calms you down, and it just helps with cortisol levels. So your cortisol levels are your stress hormones, right? And it just helps to balance all of those things out so that you can build a resiliency with stress. All right, let me look at some of these comments. Um, yes, we know one of the gentlemen's here. His name is Kojo Aitor. He does not like mushrooms. We know. I've been trying to get him to eat mushrooms, but he just won't. He just won't. Yes. So, have you guys heard of any of these? So we had the peppermint, the maitake mushroom, the astragalus, the valerian root, the Siberian ginseng. What else? What were some of the other two that I mentioned? What else did I mention? All right. What else? Oh, ashwagandha. Have you heard of these before? Have you heard of these before? Rhonda says we use it with cool, damp towels over our eyes after yoga class. It's so nice. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, y'all, let me say this. These foods are gifts to us, right? They're gifts to us. And the reality is, if you are choosing foods that are, fast, foods that are processed, you are not getting the full benefits of the foods that are here to serve you. All right. Yes. So lion's mane mushroom. Thank you. So lion's mane mushroom is another wonderful mushroom that people have been talking a lot about. This is another one that's, super good for the body. It helps with the immune system. Actually, some of these mushrooms, y'all, you can dry them and you can add them to your smoothies. It sounds a little weird, but they're absolutely delicious. And, because mushrooms take on the flavor of the foods that you're making, it won't get in the way. I promise. It just won't get in the way. So I want you guys to try some of these superfoods that we've talked about, some of these super herbs that we've talked about. And I'm going to review with you towards the end and give you some homework so that you guys can get to trying some of these things. All right. So, quick review. We said that ancient foods can be broken into 3 categories, right? Do you guys remember the 2 categories that we've just talked about? So ancient foods can be broken into 3 categories. We've talked about 2 of them. What were those 2 categories? We've said it, but I just want to make sure that you guys are connected and you guys are following along with me. All right, let's see. All right, so not supertonics. Nope, supertonics is one of the properties of one of the things that we said. So supertonics is a property of one of the categories that we talked about. All right, so super herbs, that's one of them. Yep. And sun-fired foods, yes, or living foods. Absolutely. All right, you got it. So now the 3rd category is the superfoods. Yes. So although we did all of this, right, we haven't talked about superfoods yet. We haven't talked about superfoods yet. So ancient foods are broken into 3 categories. We talked about sun-fired foods. We've talked about super herbs, and we've named some of them. And now we want to talk about superfoods, plant-based superfoods. All right, so what is with these superfoods? What's with these superfoods, y'all? All right. Why? Why do we care about superfoods? All right. So think about, I want you to visualize this. I want you to think about, I'm a math teacher, right? Some of y'all know that. So I want you to think about a line. Think about a line, right? So on the far end of that line, there's food. And then on the other side of that line, there's medicinal herbs. So food and medicinal herbs. Right in the middle of that continuum are superfoods. Okay? So they're special. So superfoods are, they're part food and part medicinal herb. And that's what makes them incredible. All right? They're a bridge between food and medicine. Okay? They're a bridge between food and medicine. They have both elements. They have both elements. They're in their own class by themselves. All right? So you kind of hear people say superfood, everything's a superfood, right? And it's true, like foods that are grown from the earth, if they're grown properly, if they're grown organically, they have very powerful medicinal properties for us. But superfoods are a little bit different, okay? And the reason why they're different is because they're like a complete food. They're complete food, all right? So if you think about the things you eat, you might have an orange, you might have an apple. It's like you almost have to have a lot of different variety. That's why we say kind of eat the rainbow. You have to have variety because you don't get everything from that one food, right? That one apple, that one orange, right? That one spinach. They have specific things in them. They have quite a few things in them, but they're not considered a complete food. All right, they're not a complete food. A superfood is. It's its own category of food and medicinal herb, superfood, and it has so many nutrients in them, y'all. It helps with virility, it helps with vitality, it helps with immune boosting, it helps with cardiovascular support, it helps with your joint health, it helps with serotonin. We could talk about what serotonin is. It basically cleanses your body. It also helps to alkalize the body as well. So it is doing a lot of different things in that one food that you would need more than that one thing to do. And that's what makes it a superfood. Okay? All right, let me pause here. And I'm looking at some of our comments here. All right, let's see. All right. Talking about sunflower foods. Some people have dropped some links inside of the comments for us. Yeah, so, and you see, that's what people are trying to do. People are trying to get the maximum amount of nutrition. They're trying to get all the nutrition that they can in the foods that they are accessing, right? That's the goal, right? We want to make sure that from a cost standpoint, we want to also make sure that we are, oh, okay, good. We want to make sure that we are getting all that we need from the foods that we are eating. All right, so I'm asking this question now. When you think of the word nutrition, what do you think? When you think of the word nutrition, what do you think? What's nutrition? What does nutrition mean when you think of it? When you are choosing your foods, you know, you think about nutrition. What you think about? Drop a comment. What's nutrition to you? What do you think of? All right, nutrition, you think of energy. Okay, yeah. All right, anybody else? When you think of nutrition, what do you think of? Vitality. Good. Vitality. Beautiful. Yep. Excellent. Anything else? Energy, health. Yeah, all of those things, right? So nutrition, oh, root word, nurture. Yes, seems like health and wellness. Beautiful. So it's all coming up. Biochemicals, that fuel the cells. Ooh, I love that melanated wanderlust. I love that. Yes. So the definition of nutrition, yep, the definition of nutrition, someone else says nutrients, your body, what your body needs. Nutrition is the process of providing or obtaining the food necessary for health and growth, food or nourishment, right? So it's the things that you need for your body to be healthy and for your body to grow, all right? And really, in order for us to have optimal health, we need to be choosing nutrient dense, you might have heard this before, nutrient dense foods, all right? And so the problem with choosing nutrient dense foods is, unfortunately, because of the food sources that we have, we're not sure necessarily if our foods have been grown with integrity, right? So if you're buying your food from Kroger, you're not buying your food organically grown. If you're getting foods from across the waters, like from a whole nother country, like Asia or Mexico, you really have no idea how that food was grown, all right? And more than likely, the folks who are growing, the farmers who are growing those foods, they're growing that year after year, month after month, week after week, day after day. And what happens is we have nutrient depleted soil. Okay, we have nutrient depleted soil. So you'll hear, like, from a urban farming, growing with integrity standpoint, you'll hear someone or people talk about rotating crops and utilizing a different kind of crop in the same place for the next season, and then changing that up the season after that. One of the reasons why that's important is because you are adding different nutrients back to the soil by rotating the crops. But a lot of farmers, when you talk about big ag, they're not doing that. They're not rotating crops. They're not doing any of those things. They're growing the same old thing day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. And what happens over time is we have nutrient depleted soil. And so even though you're eating foods that you think are super, healthy because you went and you bought it today, you ate it right away, you ate it organic, more than likely, because of the route, the path that it took to get to the grocery store, it's lost significant amount of nutrients from when it was picked to when you actually eat it. I actually found out from one of my farmer friends. She said by the time we eat most of the produce that's inside of the grocery store, 60% of the nutrients are gone. Okay, 60% of the nutrients are gone. All right. So we can have a whole nother conversation about eating locally, in season, knowing who grew your food, because then the time that you pick it to the time that you eat it, we're going to be able to access more of the nutrients, get more of the nutrition from that food if we have that kind of relationship with our grower. But because many of us don't have that kind of relationship with our grower, we're eating foods that we think are powerful foods, but we're not even getting all of the nutrients in the foods that we're consuming. All right. So let me actually pause there and look at this. It says our ancestors used to let the soil rest every 7 years and rotate between fields of land, but definitely not anymore. Yes. So some of the ancient growing practices that our ancestors, our forefathers have utilized, they're not doing those things anymore. I've been to different parts of Africa, and they actually burn the soil. They burn the wood, they burn the trees, and actually it's to, of course, control certain things in the environment, but then also doing that burning, it actually creates nutrients in the soil as well. So I don't see any of those things happening in this country. So it's something to think about. Also, we have here another comment. This is a great opportunity to grow your own food. Gardening is also therapeutic. Absolutely. Absolutely. So this is why it's important to bring in now the superfoods. Okay. So we're making the case for why superfoods are important. So what I'm saying to you is many of us are not, we just didn't know, right? We're not really concerned about organic. We're not concerned about GMO, some of us, right? And so we're just eating. But when we are not intentional about that process of the foods that we are bringing into our diet, then you run the risk of eating vegetables, right? But the vegetables not really doing what you want the vegetables to do. And so it makes the case for you to bring in something else. And that something else are going to be your superfoods. Okay. So quickly, remind me what I said about superfoods. What are some of the benefits of eating superfoods? What does it help to do in the body? We've said it already. Just give me one or two things that you remember that superfoods help to do. What do you remember about superfoods? Just tell me. And then we'll talk about some of the different things that the superfood specifically, that one food can basically give you. All right, they have medicinal properties. Excellent. Yep. They have medicinal properties. They alkaline the body or alkalize the body. Beautiful. Yes. And so much more, right? And so much more. So superfoods are in a class by themselves. In a class by themselves. All right. Here are some of the things. Yes, they cleanse and alkalinize the body. Thank you, Miss Yolanda. Regenerates the cells. Yes. Helps the joints and gives you energy. Yes. Nourishing and healing. Yes, absolutely. All right. So I want to share with you some of the things that superfoods have. You wouldn't even think that these superfoods have these things, but they do. They do. Because we all know that plants are dope, right? We know that plants are amazing. And the things that we don't think plants have, they do. They have them. All right. So superfoods, these are all the things that you're going to get in superfoods, right? You're going to get protein. All right. And yes, plants have protein. We're under this impression that plants don't have protein, but plants have protein, right? So we know that this is a critical fuel of energy for the body, and it also helps us to oxygenate our blood. All right. So superfoods have protein. Okay. Superfoods have minerals, like a lot of them too. They have quite a few trace minerals. And we know that, minerals are super important for keeping our bones, our muscle, our heart, our brain working properly. We need minerals, all right? And we need a lot of different kinds of minerals. Another thing that superfoods have are antioxidants. And so, when you think of antioxidants, some people think of blueberries, right? Well, y'all, there's so much more than blueberries. Antioxidants are actually a molecule that really helps the body to neutralize free radicals. And free radicals are the things that make us age and look, older than we actually are. So free radicals are all over the place. The more foods that you eat that have antioxidants really help to combat that aging process. Superfoods have good fats and oils. All right, they have those good fats and oils is going to support your heart health and kind of prevent strokes and just really support your cardiovascular health. Superfoods have essential amino acids. All right, and essential amino acids are going to basically help you with nutrient absorption. So all these things that we're eating, we need to make sure that our body is working properly so that we can digest it properly. All right. So superfoods have essential amino acids. All right. Superfoods also have glyconutrients. All right. And basically, glyconutrients are going to support you with your immune system. All right. So you're hearing some themes, right? You're hearing things, that are super important for the body over and over again. Vitamins. All right. All of us need vitamins. And vitamins are going to support us with our bones and then also healing when we have wounds, cuts, bruises, bruised bones, whatever. Vitamins really help us in that process. It helps to repair damaged cells. Okay. Enzymes, y'all. Enzymes. Superfoods got enzymes. And those enzymes are basically chemical reactions in the body that really aid in digestion. It's helping us to access the nutrients that we need so that as we eat these different things, we're getting all the goodness from them. All right. So that's what enzymes are. And then coenzymes, you might have heard of something called CoQ10. That's a coenzyme. Basically, it helps to regulate the extra fluids that are in the body around like the heart area. Someone who might have some cardiovascular issues or high blood pressure, CoQ10 helps with those things. Migraines, it just helps with regulating the I said it, the fluids that's inside of the body. Essential fatty acids, superfoods have those, and those help with cardiovascular health once again. And then last but not least, polysaccharides. So superfoods are basically helping you to get that energy that you need so that you can store it efficiently, so that you can have the energy that you need to do what you need to do. That's what polysaccharides allow you to do. So superfoods have all of those things. When you think about your kale, your spinach, I'm not saying that those things are bad. Those things are absolutely amazing, but they're not categorized as a superfood because it doesn't have all of those different nutrients in them, all right, as a superfood might have, okay? All right, so enzymes are like Pac-Man. Yes, yes. Alicia says they're complete foods. Yes, superfoods are complete foods. Superfoods are complete foods. All right. All right. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? So do you all know, we're going to talk about 10 superfoods over the course of these 10 days. So I'm not giving them all up tonight. We're only going to talk about 2 of them tonight. We're going to talk about 2 of them tonight. Okay. The first one, you may or may not know this one. A lot of times people think that one of these is a superfood, but it's actually not. It's another one of these that's a superfood. All right, so I'm going to hold there and just check in and see if you all have any questions. Do we have any questions? Any questions? Enzymes like Pac-Man, plants grow big animals. Yes. Oh, I want to mention that. Thank you, Hula Roots Yogini. Plants do grow big animals. So when people are talking about, am I going to get enough protein? Am I going to get enough this? There are so many examples of vegan, vegetarian animals that are in the animal kingdom that are completely herbivores. All right. Some examples of those are gorillas, right? They do not eat, they eat plants. They eat plants. All right. Giraffes, they eat plants. That's it. They eat plants. Koalas, they're a little bit smaller, but they eat plants, right? What are some other ones that eat plants that are huge? What are some plant-based animals in our world that are huge, but all they eat are plants? So this misnomer that we think, oh, we're not going to get enough plants, we're not going to get enough of what we need from eating plants, is just not true. Pandas, yes, they eat eucalyptus leaves. That's it. Elephants, yes, they just eat plants. Gorillas, they just eat plants. Cows, horses, they're huge and they're full of muscles. They just eat plants. So this idea that you know, are, give me a second, y'all. My live just stopped. I'm sorry. Hold on a second. I think because we went to about an hour. There we go. All right. So this idea that you know, we are not getting enough of what we need from plants is just not true. All right. So unfortunately, my live on Instagram stopped. So I'm back on Instagram. So if you jumped off, come on back, please. We're so sorry about that. I don't know what happened. It just stopped. All right, so let's talk about some of these superfoods. So the first superfood that I want to talk about tonight, there are 10 of them, and we'll get through the 10 over the next couple days, is goji berries. Okay. Goji berries. So check it. You know, people think that blueberries are where it's at. And blueberries are. Don't get me wrong. Blueberries are amazing. Blueberries are amazing. And goji berries are just even more powerful than blueberries. All right. So what you'll find is that when fruits are grown in harsh conditions, it does something to the inner workings of the plant. It creates a more potent, a more powerful plant because it's withstanding so much from its environment. And because it's withstanding so much from its environment, it just has more power, right? And goji berries, like blueberries are grown in some harsh conditions if you're talking about like wild blueberries. But goji berries, they're actually grown in different parts of the world. They're grown in the Americas, they're grown in Asia, and it's a superfood, right? It is a fruit. And actually, the power in the goji berry is not just the actual fruit, but the seeds, the flower, the leaves, the root, all of those things can be used for medicinal purposes. Okay. Have you all seen a goji berry before? It looks like a little red, like you've probably seen them dried, right? They look almost like, just think of the shape of rice. So just that shape, not the size, but the shape of rice, but a little bit bigger, and it's red. So typically, like just how they dry raisins or currants or any of these things, they dry goji berry and sell them dry. And what you can do is you can reconstitute them and use them. You can add them to smoothies. You can add them to, whatever really. You can reconstitute them if you want to. It's up to you, right? But this particular goji berry, it does so many different things in the body. It's considered to be an adaptogenic fruit. All right. And so we heard that word before, adaptogenic. It just means that it helps our body with stress response. All right. So it helps us to have a healthier stress response in the body. In addition to being an adaptogenic fruit, goji berries also support the immune system. So like right now, y'all, you should be thinking about all the foods that are going to support your immune system. All right. And part of the thing with supporting the immune system is making sure that you have a healthy stress response. Okay. And so also with the immune support, goji berries are going to help to alkaline the body. They're going to help with your liver function. It's going to help you with vitality, right? All in these little fruits, right? It helps to improve your eyesight. It helps with your blood quality. It also has those antioxidant properties that we talked about. It also helps with your joints. It helps with lower back pain. It is just nutritionally dense. You can add this to just about anything. It's absolutely incredible. And as it relates to just the nutrients, it has minerals, it has zinc, it has iron, it has copper, it has calcium, it has germanium, selenium, phosphorus, B1, B2, vitamin E, and it supports sexual functions. And that's just a few things. So again, how can you use goji berries? If you are doing smoothies, and this is one of the ways that you are trying to get your superfood smoothie in, you're trying to make sure that you get something that's nutrient dense, you can add goji berries to your smoothies along with some of these other things that we've talked about. You're going to get all of these amazing things inside of your morning drink, right? Or your lunch drink that's just going to give you a lot of energy. Okay. All right. Goji berries. Have you guys had these before? Have you seen goji berries? Have you tried them before? Any of you? Yes, I see some of the comments. Wow, boom, yes. Goji berries. Let me go get some of me goji berries. Yes, you want to get them goji berries. They're amazing. They're amazing. Goji berries, y'all. So I'm not saying that blueberries aren't powerful, but really out of all of the berries, strawberries, raspberry, blueberries, any of those berries, goji berries are the king of the berries. Okay, they just have everything in them. All right, so you want to go and get yourself some gojis. All right, will you save this live and post on your page? Yes. So for those of you who on Instagram, it dropped off, we are recording. And in us recording, we will have this, saved for you on Facebook and on YouTube. So you're good to go. All right. And I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. All right. So the second superfood of the evening, mind you, we're not going through all of them because we got to pace ourselves. The second superfood of the evening is cacao. All right. So this is actually a nut. All right. So when I actually was in Ghana, we were in Ghana in 2019. Cacao is grown beautifully in Africa. It's grown in Central America. It's grown in South America. And it's absolutely, when you think about the chocolate that you eat, it does not look like that when it's coming off of the tree. It is in a pod, and there's a process that pod goes through to get you the chocolate that you're eating. But if you're eating chocolate with a lot of sugar in them, then you are not taking full advantage of the amazing properties of cacao. All right. So I'm actually just typing here goji berries. All right. Goji berries. So cacao is our second superfood. All right. We use cacao for making chocolate, but cacao is actually in its original state, it's actually very bitter. It's very, very bitter. And, for those of you who might have done my palate reset for the summer, we talk a lot about the palate, right? We talk a lot about the different kinds of foods that you need to have to balance your taste buds. And many of us are eating salt, we're eating sugar, but we're not doing the full spectrum of flavors that keeps us balanced. So we're doing salt, sugar, but there's some more, right? There's savory, there's bitter, and then there's sour. So your cacao would fall in the bitter category. It's extremely bitter. And that's one of the reasons why they add sugar to it, to cut that bitter. But it's tremendously powerful in its most bitter form. So if you're going to do cacao powder, try your best when you're buying cacao, whether it's the powder or even the dark chocolate, look at the percentage of cacao that's in the top corner, top left or right hand corner of the product that you're purchasing. It usually tells you 90% cacao, 85% cacao. So that's letting you know how bitter it is. The bitter, the higher the percentage, right? The more bitter, the higher the percentage. You want to make sure that you are choosing cacao that has the highest percentage that you could possibly get, because you're really capturing the true medicinal power of the cacao when you do that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about cacao. By the way, just a fun fact, back in the 16th century in Spain, cacao was actually so valuable, it was used as money. It was used as a commodity that they traded. They didn't want anything else. They wanted that cacao. So it was used as money. It's very high in minerals, very, very high in minerals. It's very high in antioxidants. There goes that word again, antioxidants. So it helps to fight the aging process, all right? And actually, this is also amazing, right? This is amazing. When you think about acai, so that's another berry. And let me write that down here. Acai berries. And I'm actually I'm only able to write it in one place. So acai berries is ACAI. Acai berries. So when you think of acai berries, which is another kind of berry that's really powerful, pomegranates, that's another fruit that's very powerful, goji berries, which is what we just talked about, red wine, one of my favorites, and blueberries combined, the nutrient content of the cacao is all of those things combined. That's how powerful cacao is. Cacao is also very, very rich in magnesium. And another thing, we're all sort of depleted in is magnesium, our minerals. All right. You know that you are depleted in magnesium and you might need it. It's like if you get Charlie horses. So if you are getting up at night, you're waking up in the middle of the night and you're getting leg cramps, then more than likely that means that you might need a little bit of magnesium added to your diet. All right. Magnesium is going to support heart health. It's going to also support your brain functioning. It's going to also relax the muscles. It's going to support you if you are dealing with menstrual cramps. It's going to support you with bowel movements. So some of us out here are constipated. When you really add magnesium as something like a regimented thing that you are using, helps you to, again, relax. So it helps you with your bowel movements. It also helps with strengthening your bones. It also helps with flexibility. And one of the big things is it helps to alkalize the body. That's what magnesium does. Cacao has a high concentration of magnesium in it. And then the other thing that magnesium helps is with the veins and the arteries. Because it's helping the body relax, it helps the blood vessels, your veins, your arteries to dilate, which is going to support your blood pressure too. All right. Again, amazing, right? So here's some other nutrients that cacao has. It has chromium, it has manganese, it has zinc. And zinc, I don't know if you guys know, but if you're not using zinc during this time, again, that's another tool, another medicinal food that you can have. And, medicinal food can be in pills. They can be in pills because it's not a pharmaceutical, but it's a medicinal food that you can use. This is going to support your immune system. It's going to also support your liver, your pancreas, and then also your skin and your sexual fluids. Cacao also is high in copper, vitamin C, omega-6 fatty acids, helps with serotonin. Oh, and we'll talk about that, and then soluble fiber. So when you think of serotonin, serotonin is basically helping you with your mood, right? So when people are, a little bit just on the uptight side, they need to just chill out, they need to relax, they can use chocolate or cacao to help them shift their mood, and some of these other herbs and foods that we've talked about. So cacao helps to produce that serotonin in the body that helps you to chill out and just helps you to just kind of relax and be nicer, right? Another way that serotonin is created is when you work out, right? It just helps to boost your serotonin levels. It's produced, you're excited, you feel good after you work out. It impacts the mood. And so these two superfoods, just these two things that we've talked about today, I hope that you guys can bring some of these things into your diet. All right. We talked about some ways that you can use goji berries. Here's some ways that you can use cacao. All right. You can actually do a hot toddy at night. You can do turmeric and you can do some hot cocoa, add the turmeric and the cacao with some water or some milk, and you can drink that before you go to bed. It's going to help to relax your body. Actually, that's really nice. If you think about when people drink hot cocoa in the evening, it just helps them to unwind. It helps them to relax. Okay. You could also do these in smoothies. Again, you can make these with desserts. You can do that. You can just add a spoon of cacao to some warm water And that sounds a little weird, but I'm telling you guys, you have to shift how you're thinking about the things that you are putting in your mouth and be really intentional. Not everything is going to taste good. Not everything's going to taste amazing. It's just not, right? But I want you to shift and think about the relationship that you're creating with the things that you're eating and ask yourself, okay, is this serving me well? Is this helping my body? Is this helping me to be the best that I can be? And some of the things that I use that makes me feel good afterwards don't have the best flavor. They're not sweet, they're not salty. They just are. They are what they are. But I'm getting the body benefit of using them. And so these are some of the things that we want to start considering as we decide the foods that we're going to choose to heal our bodies. Okay. And these are two superfoods that I'm super excited about. I love these. All right, so I'm going to pause there. We are at 8:16, so I want to actually start wrapping up. So the last thing that I want to ask you before we start wrapping up is, when you're looking for foods to eat, like when you're going out and you're looking for foods to eat, what are some of the considerations that you all are making? All right, so you're going out to eat. And I want you to be honest, right? Because we're in this life, we have all sorts of things going on, right? The question is, what considerations are you making when you are eating? Yes. All right. So someone said price. Good. Who else? What are some of the other considerations that you are making when you are buying food or choosing foods to eat? You're checking ingredients. Good. That's actually good because a lot of people don't check the ingredients. They don't look at the labels. I know that when I'm rushing, I don't always look at ingredients, but that's a good one. Ingredients, you prefer going to Black-owned businesses. Okay, yep, I appreciate that. Taste, freshness, absolutely, yes. So now the thing that I want you all to really think about now that you're getting this information is, are the foods that I'm choosing serving my body well? Is it helping me to thrive or is it helping me to decline? Okay, that's what I want you all to think about. Someone else said they're looking for if it's colorful, if it's living foods, or minimally processed. Excellent. They also are considering taste and the nutritional value, and then they're looking at it from a research standpoint. Excellent. So this is wonderful because a lot of folks aren't doing that. I want you to think about that though. When you are out there and you're choosing foods, is this food that I'm selecting tonight helping me thrive or is it helping me to decline? And that's real in this time, right? Because each and every day, particularly with the pandemic and COVID scares here and there, each day we should be choosing to boost our immune system. Each day we should be choosing foods that are going to give us the nutrient density that we need to be strong and fortified. Period. Period. And if it's not giving us those things, then it's like we need to leave them alone. We need to just like, nah, I don't need that. So yes. Let's see what else. Seasonal foods. Okay, good. Seasonal foods. I think about, can I eat it raw as well? Yes. So these are all good things. And so I'm going to leave y'all with that. I want you guys to think about as you are producing whatever it is that you're producing in the household or buying, whatever. I want you to think about, are these foods helping me to thrive or are they helping me to decline? All right. And we really want to make sure that we are being very intentional about the foods that are helping us to thrive. All right. Let's see. Melanated Wonderlust says, I like the thrive or decline evaluation. That's a paradigm shift. Yeah, absolutely. Because I think, if you are really kind of pausing and asking yourself that question, then it's really, now we're getting into mindful eating. We're getting into mindful eating, and that's super important that we're there. Okay. All right. So I'm going to wrap up for tonight. So I have some homework for you all. So I'm so grateful to all of you who participated in this masterclass day one. So here is your homework. So, we have prizes, and the prizes will be given out last night. Okay, we have that. So, in order for you to be entered in to win the prize, you need to attend all 3 days. Okay, so what I would love for you all to do is to invite a friend. And when you invite a friend, you could also post. You can post on your page, and you can tag me, essentially Chef Bee or Natasha Bruley. You can tag me. And I want you to make a post as to why you attended the masterclass and just one of your takeaways. And you can do that however you want. You can do that with an image of something. It could be just a post with words. It's up to you. And when you do that, I want you to tag me and write Chef Bee Superfoods. All right? Chef Bee Superfoods. That's your hashtag. And actually, I'll put it here, Chef Bee Superfoods. All right? Chef Bee Superfoods. So when you create your post, right, you're going to tag a friend, tell them to come. You're going to basically tell us why you decided to attend the masterclass, and then you're going to tell us one takeaway that you've had for this evening with the masterclass. What did you learn? What are you thinking about differently now? And then you're going to make sure that you tag me, and you're going to put hashtag superfoods. Okay. So before we go anywhere, any questions? Let me look. Let me see if there's any questions. Post or story. Oh, okay. So you can actually you can post it in the story. If you are on Instagram, the tag should be I am Chef Bee. I am Chef Bee is the tag if you post it on your stories and Instagram, and then I'll repost it, and then it'll go on my stories. So if you're on Facebook, hashtag Chef Bee Superfoods. If you're on Instagram, I am Chef Bee, and I'll repost it in my stories. And in order for you to be entered in to win any of our prizes for the last night, you have to attend all 3 days. All right. Thank you so much. All right. So before we close out tonight, do you guys have any questions about anything? I was trying my best to scroll and see some of the questions, and y'all, it was so many things coming in. So, you can hold those questions, and you can actually bring them tomorrow if we did not address your question. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for all of y'all being here and supporting this information. Here, y'all, I want y'all to be the best that y'all can be. I just do. I love y'all. I just do. I love my folks. And I just know the power when you get your mind right, and when you're focused, and when you are intentional about your wellness. It really makes a difference. And I know that this thing is not easy at all. I know that. And if you have support, if you have folks that are supporting you along the way, that's where it's at. The first thing is that you need to educate yourself, and you need to know what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, and then give yourself some grace, because you're not going to get it right away, right? It takes time, right? So superfoods. So we'll get into some more superfoods tomorrow night, and we'll definitely address any of the questions that you might or might not have tomorrow. So once again, I just want to make sure that we're clear about the homework. Your homework is to attend all 3 days if you can, in order to be entered in to win a prize. You want to invite a friend to this live tomorrow, day 2. You want to make a post as to why you attended the masterclass and just one takeaway. And your post could be a picture of something. It could be words. It could be you. It could be whatever. And then you want to make sure that you tag the event. If you're in Facebook, hashtag Chef Bee Superfoods with 3 E's. And then on Instagram, I am Chef Bee. Okay? And that is all that I have for you beautiful folks tonight. We will see you all tomorrow, same time, 7 o'clock, and we'll jump into these next 4 superfoods. All right. So I'm super excited to share that with you all. All right, y'all. I am signing off. Take care and God bless.